Hey guys, Simply Betta here. So I've gone and done something a little bit stupid. I messed up my hands. I really messed them up. Oops. So I have really ouchy hands. And this is a little bit of a problem because I do a lot every day, which involves my hands and carrying heavy things and doing motions, you know? And now I'm at a bit of a loss on how I'm gonna get all my chores done. And by chores, I mean my water changes. I mean the water changes that need to happen in my fish room and on my fish rack. I use my hands a lot and my wrists. So I'm gonna try to figure out some different ways to do water changes that don't involve me picking anything up. Like I can hardly turn my steering wheel or like pick up a really full cup of coffee with these arms right now. So that's my video today. Figure out how to water change without using my hands. This is my fish rack right here, and I've been changing the waters using the old-fashioned bucket method way. Basically, I use a python hose to suction out, then clean the bottoms, and that drains into a bucket, and I just quick run the bucket into the sink and dump it out. And it's been really fast for me and easy, but I can't do that anymore, obviously, because I'm crippled. I'm gonna have to think of a different way to water change. That's not just asking my husband to do everything for me. I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna be like, hey, guess what? Now you get to come home from work and look at all this stuff you have to do. No, I want to think of a way to do it where I don't have to work and use my hands, basically. So the reason why I like suctioning out by hand and into a bucket versus just using like a pump, I really like to get in here and get all the debris out. I mean, I know I can hook up a hose to a faucet and use suction from the faucet to basically pull water out of the tanks, but that's a big waste of water. And doing anything is hard when your hands really hurt. Like even adjusting my tripod or editing videos. Like I think I'm gonna have to slow down my video editing just for a little while until I heal because it hurts. It just hurts too bad. So I drained half of my 20-gallon tank with the python hose just into this bucket. This is like a tote bucket, like an 11-gallon bucket I had laying around. I put a pump in this bucket. From the pump I have hose running all the way to my bathroom. And it's clamped onto the faucet, so it's just gonna go straight into the sink. So let's plug it in and see how it does. Right on. Okay, that's working pretty well. It works. I mean, I should have probably used this method all along, but the 5-gallon buckets were just so fast. I didn't have to set up all the hose. Well, I'll use that method to empty everything else, and I'll fill these guys back up. I guess that wasn't so bad. You know, I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to the 5-gallon bucket method. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? Well, yeah, I'm never going back to the 5-gallon bucket method. I think I'll just stay with this forever. It'll be less of a workout, but it's nice being lazy. Changing out the waters on my recirculating system isn't too hard. I just pump in clean water and dirty water comes out here. I guess it's not a recirculating system yet. It's just a flow-through system. I mean, I press a button, I can change out 20 gallons of water, and this is a pretty good setup. I'm sort of finding out that even my camera is too heavy for me to hold. I'm sitting on a bucket right now in my fish room. It's an absolute mess in here. So changing the waters on my jarred fish has proven to be pretty difficult. I had to ask my husband to come in to the fish room, and I was like, okay, you see this, big section of jars here? Can you please go over to the sink and dump like almost all of the water out, but not the fish, of course, and then just put the jar just on the floor. So he did that, and it took him a few minutes. Then it's time for me to figure out how I'm supposed to get clean water back into the jars. So my idea is that I'm gonna throw a pump into my water change bucket, like one of my pretty high-powered pumps. Each jar that was sitting on the floor that now had, like half an inch of water in it and a fish, I lifted that up because I could lift that up. It really wasn't much on my wrists. So I brought it over to the counter, and I just grabbed a couple of these clear plastic cups, and I dumped the fish into their own little cups. So now I have an empty jar. I put it on the counter. Then I took a hose that's connected to a pump in my water change bucket, and I put the hose inside of the jar. And then I had my pump plug and an extension cord, and I would just plug the two in. And then the pump in just a few seconds would fill up the whole jar, and I'd unplug it and remove it and kind of shove the jar to the back of the counter, just slide it over and do the same exact thing.
Pick up the next jar, dump the fish out, do the same thing, put the hose in, plug it into the extension cord, fill it up, unplug it, dump the fish back in, push it away.
Eventually I did all the jars, and then I had my husband come in again, and he grabbed the full heavy jars and put them back on the shelf. So I did it. Last night I figured out a way which, I could do water changes, and I didn't just have to have somebody do everything for me. I did need help, but I wasn't completely helpless. And that's important. I hate being helpless. But there was a problem with that system because even the act of like gently plugging in a cord to an extension cord hurt. So, you know, I knew I couldn't just rely on that. And of course I didn't film any of that last night because I was so just frazzled and grumpy, so I didn't film anything. But today I thought of a new system that I think is a little bit better. And I have it right here. Let me film it if I can hold the camera. My new system involves this really great 11-gallon tote. This is the hose that's attached to the high-powered pump that's in my water change bucket. So I'm just gonna plug it in and fill up this tote. See all these containers down on the floor. So I had to ask my husband to take the next batch of fish, mostly empty it, and then put them on the floor. I'm actually going to be using a much lower powered pump, you know, a very easy, gentle pump right here, to then pump water directly into the jars with the fish still in it. This way I don't have to remove the fish, I don't have to actually pick up the containers. It's just kind of I'm erasing a step. It's pumping water directly into the jars. It's at a really gentle rate that the fish can deal with. Once I'm done filling up all these jars on the floor, I'll ask my husband to put them back up on the shelf and then get down the last batch of jars. This is working. It's not ideal, but it's working. It's not ideal because I don't like to have help. That sounds horrible. Help is fine, but I don't like the feeling that somebody else is being burdened by something of mine. You know what I mean? Because this is just gonna happen again in a few days. I mean, I have to keep up on the water changes in this jarred system, and depending on how long I'm laid up, I don't feel like this is sustainable. I'm trying to think of options, like what am I gonna do? I'm bringing some fish to the pet store, which is gonna be nice. That's gonna take a few off my hands. I might have to do like an emergency drip system, like another one. If this doesn't go away soon, I might not be able to do the February daily video challenge because I can hardly edit. Line, it says like 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, did that sound super whiny or what? I'm not a whiny person. I was just very grumpy that night because I was in a lot of pain. It's been a week since I filmed that, and my hands are feeling a lot better. I still have to wear my braces, and I kind of can't pick anything up that's heavy, but you know, I'm on the mend. Everything will be just fine. I just have to keep telling myself to slow down and just relax for a bit and take care of your hands. Because the more I rest them, the faster they're gonna heal. I can still do little things, like if you look behind me, kind of back there, I have a couple new tanks. My somewhat local Petco was having the $1 per gallon sale, so I went there and I picked up 3 10-gallon tanks. I'm gonna go ahead and paint the backs of them and the bottoms, because I just like the way that looks. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know I like to paint the backs of my tanks black, and the bottoms. At that Petco $1 per gallon sale, I also got 2 20-gallon longs for a project coming up soon that I'm kind of excited about, but I do need my hands to do that. So I'll just have to wait. Using this tote has been really nice. I'm glad I thought about it. It's, you know, saving me a lot of work. And I am happy I thought about this. Someday I will have my auto water change system. Someday I daydream about it in my future home with my future fish basement. Not a bathroom, a basement. My own basement. I'm able to do stuff like I painted this, no problem, but then I had to have my husband carry these downstairs, even though they're not very heavy. I have the tendency to push myself a little too hard, and last night I put together a new tank and I was messing with substrate, and I thought I was being so careful, just like using little cups to fill up my tank, and I thought I wasn't, I was being careful, and it turns out I aggravated my tendons again. So I have to stop being stupid, and I have to just relax for a while and stop doing things. Okay, can everyone appreciate this real fast? My toddler and I painted this together. You know, one thing that I'm really starting to appreciate about reptiles is that you don't have to water change them. I love it. So thanks for watching, guys. I do have some fun things coming up still, though, but I might have to slow down my videos just a little bit. We'll see. I have another planted tank coming up, fun projects. You'll just have to, stick around and find out. So this has been Taylor with Simply Betta. Be sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day, guys. See you next time.